Tarantula sentry gun constructed with the blessing of the Adeptus Mechanicus using a standard template construct and the manufactorums of Kiev Gamma.
Let's see this through.
A violet alloy, which upon closer examination turns out to be a handcrafted object. Handcrafted object symbols carved with primitive tools are visible on the surface. Formations, cargo management. Map, journal, character, inventory. Now, what do we want to do? Ironclast, dogmatic, or do we want to be heretical? Kind of feeling Ironclast and heretical push towards radical.
Let's seize the moment.
Black shard resembling obsidian. If you look closely, you can discern a strange, barely perceptible glow inside the artifact. Massive golden amalgam interspersed with sparkling particles. Stone on the pedestal is no doubt solid, but its surface shimmers and changes hues, as if someone has captured a piece of turbulent sea within a rock. Strange object that resembles sea coral. The porous surface is pitted, a sign that it has been underwater. And a low green crystal with white veins. A low hum can be heard from coming from the artifact. Grant's voidship temple occupies the entire space below the officer's deck and is lit by countless candles and lumens.
Marching ahead.
Costa Sourback. No initiative, no independent thought, only the amass, amendments and adherence to protocols. The lifts carrying people around the decks move with a loud grinding noise.
Stay sharp.
Monument dedicated to the von Valancia's dynasty, acquisition of the warrant of trade, the symbol of power and special role.
Forge ahead, never linger.
That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora. Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide. Practically an admission of heresy.
Then suggest an alternative that will satisfy me. I
don't remember her having a voice
no worse than my
in the first time I played it. Sounds
Make a
great.
decision. What will you do with Ion 6, Edelthrad?
First impression of Edelthrad, who appears to be about 30 years old, is a parchment-like skin stretched over tightly bundled mass of sinew, implants, and bone. Nervously twitching fingers, a face twisted by the slight tic. The jerky movements are all signs of illness or defect that has taken over his physical form. In stark contrast to Edelthrad, Theodora von Valancia's features appear as if they were carved from marble, eternal and indestructible. Head raised high, proud posture, hands clasped behind her back. Everything seems to emphasize the difference in status between her and Edelthrad. Behind the two of them, you see two more men. One a gray-haired officer of impeccable bearing who is studying the contents of his data slate. The other is a behemoth bristling with holsters and baldricks containing all manners of weapons.
Our second candidate has joined us. Approach and give me your answer.
Ow!
Consider this hypothetical situation. Ion 6. A new world on the fringes of the Koronus Expanse. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say, but attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crews sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure?
Their character skills reflect their knowledge and capabilities. Some dialogues automatically initiate skill tests. If such a test succeeds, new information will be revealed or a hidden dialogue option will unlock. If your character is traveling with allies, the party member with the highest score and the applicable skill is selected for each given passive test. These spirits could well be the native's name for dangerous aliens. I would first verify if it is indeed the case and if the population of Ion 6 engages in xeno worship. Don't care. There are ways to confirm whether what is happening on Ion 6 is witchcraft or not. It might cost several psykers to do so, but it will give us the answer. If my particular life experiences are any indication, some of the natives would eagerly betray their chieftains in exchange for a quiet life serving aboard my ship. I would then leave dealing with Ion 6 to those who knew it best. These reports of spirits certainly sound like evidence of heresy. However, I would put my interests first. No matter what means I would have to use, the riches of Aeon 6 would be mine. Aeon 6 must be purged. For the good of the Imperium, I shall exterminate the heretical beliefs and otherworldly powers that rule the native apostates. I like that. There are ways to confirm whether what is happening is witchcraft.
Thorough, but presumptuous. It took me a great deal to find one psyker who could serve me well for many years. Yet you speak of several.
Sanctioned psykers are rare and valuable instruments of the Golden Throne. Or do you suggest that we use heretics, who are an offense to the God Emperor's light? It would be rather careless of you to utter such profanity in the presence of his faithful servants.
I gave a straight answer to a simple question, which, as I understand, was still more than you could do at a throw. We are both servants of the God Emperor and Lady Theodora. Does it become any one of our statuses to engage in petty feuds? I find your tone most disagreeable, Edelthrad. You will kindly alter the manner in which you address me, or else you will live to regret the consequence. I like this one.
Insolent, ignorant upstart. How dare you?
Edelthrad, I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me then why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officer's deck, instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview.
Ah.
I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time.
Got him.
So, why are you here?
I do not know just yet. I'm hoping that you will clarify that.
Clarity. A luxury that few of us can afford. There is a reason why I did not explain all the details of the question I posed to you earlier. Beyond the borders of the Imperium, seldom is one granted an opportunity to enjoy information in abundance. This, however, is one such opportunity. My name is Theodora von Valancius Massimo of Scaris. I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of humanity. And my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic. The warrant of trade, kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness beyond the Imperium and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign, and bow death and ruin to us all. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon, resources, people, riches, and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you are one of those with von Valancius blood in their veins and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes.
One of, does this mean there are other heirs?
Naturally. Some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Edelthrad may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of the responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. Blood right alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of a warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful. If not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be too challenging for those who share your blood. Kunrad Voitvir served me for many years before he made his mistake. His kinship to me is most distant, as is yours. Nonetheless, he does bear the name von Valancius, even if he avoids using it publicly, and as such, strictly speaking, can be considered my heir. That door, however, is closed to him. Voitvir's performance in his current role is satisfactory. Or it used to be, at least.
Thanks for clarifying. May I ask questions now?
I have some time before the navigator gives the signal to initiate the void ship's translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge.
Navigator, translation, what are these things you speak of?
Sometimes I forget that people without direct access to a ship's bridge may not know the first thing about how a void ship travels between the stars. Vessels such as this one are capable of leaving real space and traversing into the warp, an otherworldly dimension of cruel and unthinkable forces. By entering it under the protection of the Gellerfield, we shorten the route to our destination, crossing distances that would require hundreds of years in a matter of weeks instead, sometimes in days or even hours. That is how humanity spread across the galaxy. That is how we were able to build the Imperium, which spans millions of stars.
So where is your ship headed?
The Rykad system, the domain of rogue trader Winterscale, one of my peers and rivals. Besides me, 2 other rogue traders exist in the Koronus Expanse, and each of them possesses resources comparable to mine. Perhaps you will one day assist House von Valancia in surpassing both of them in affluence and splendor. I set the course for Rykard on the demand for a very specific reason. Perhaps I shall yet apprise you of the purpose for this voyage, but now is not the time.
An incident took place on the officer's desk.
Is that so? Perhaps the technomats were careless during maintenance. Or it could be the warp playing tricks on us in spite of the Gellerfield. Or perhaps there is something to all the stories about the ship being possessed after all.
Lady Theodora, for the God Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumors spread about by uneducated riffraff.
Enough, Abelard. Such hearsay amuses me. Idira eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whispers of her unseen advisors. This ship is thousands of years old. It has enough hidden nooks, malfunctioning cogitators, and unused compartments to make ignorant folks speak of specters dwelling inside the bulkheads and plotting against those who yet live.
So, what are my current responsibilities?
Observe, learn, absorb. It will take time for you to find your bearings aboard this vessel and in your new position. Eventually, I will find a post that suits you as I did for Edelthrad. Until that time comes, consider yourself my aide.
Oh, gracious Lord Captain, surely there are ways I can prove myself.
You can start by not asking questions of this sort. I have no need for sycophants. I will draw my conclusions when an opportunity to prove yourself arises. As for when you will be granted that opportunity, only the God Emperor knows.
I have no more
In that
questions.
case, I shall head to... Disturbances reported on the adjacent decks. Seneschal, if the need arises, protect the new blood. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth may present itself sooner than you may have anticipated.
That's a lot of guys.